All right, hello. Um, if you do not have a degree in the super mega college English level, then this one would be a rough ride for you. Upon inhalation, the trembling darkness before me crystallized instantly into a shimmering vortex of lime-colored tessera and began a meticulous implosion upon itself. Pulses of sinuous electric energy shot along it from behind me, and I could see them disappear down its infinite corridor. Each one came faster and faster and faster until this typhoon-like tunnel was throbbing with supple supernova pulsations. It was then that I began to accelerate, an auditory drone that seemed to flange at the edge of my being, propelling me along. I couldn't believe the breakneck speed with which I was beginning to move, like a proton in a hyperspatial supercollider. The breathtakingly ecstatic sensation of being literally shot out of the confines of my corporeal body was overwhelming, and already my mind was grasping wildly about for a semblance of familiarity. No previous DMT journey had ever moved this fast. The vortex started coiling then, curling and cycling into a cylindrical self, and I became aware that it was but one strand in a warping and wefting dimension which was now materializing and taking on 1,000 outlandish forms all around me. Ahead was an entirely ludicrous, tensile, concentric, mandala-like disco Medusa that wore about it a technicolor dream coat of fibrillating antennae, surrounded by an ultraviolet aura. Instantly, I could tell it was alive, like some sort of sentinel. Then, seemingly out of nowhere and from every direction at once, came these freakish tentacles of liquid lapis lazuli. They began moving together with an almost orchestral hyper-precision, and I was completely mesmerized. It was like nothing I had ever seen. I had absolutely no idea what I was looking at. There must literally have been thousands of them. I was utterly flabbergasted. I knew I must find a way past this creature, though, as extraordinary as she was. We were still cruising along at the speed of light, now descending backwards together through an amoeboid octahedral gallery of iridescent vaults. It was at this moment that I became suddenly aware we were not alone. The vaults seemed to zoom explosively outward then, and the gallery expanded ad infinitum into a gargantuan, labyrinthian, almost interstellar space, and through every vault poured the miraculous and zany imps who make the tryptamine hyperdimension their home. The tentacles of lapis lazuli gathered these capricious, multicolored enigmas in towards the center, and became the architectonic scaffolding of their new multidimensional reality, a world which I found myself smack dab in the middle of. It was like a liquid mind ecology of staggering and alien complexity, the mind as it crosses over into quantum warp drive and migrates even further out into the oceanic beyond. At this point, the glorious geometries transcended what is even vaguely feasible in the three-dimensional mundane world, constantly concressing into new, variegated permutations, exfoliating out of themselves what might be called hyperspherologies of the divine, and to look anywhere was to be shot clean through with scintillating amazement. Crowding and cramming themselves into my field of vision were thousands upon thousands of beings of every imaginable sort, and many that were completely unimaginable. They were everywhere, jabbering in indecipherable tongues, juggling incandescent neon microworlds of dancing beings, and morphing with a zen-like diaphanous fluidity that remains a primal miracle no matter how often you lay your all-too-human eyes on it. The primordial intelligence being manifest before me was palpable, undeniable, transcendently amazing. It shook me to my core in a more than real, gleeful profundity. All I could do was sit there in divine liquid awe, my soul gaping wide open, and stare at the uncalculable proportions of bizarreness and downright weird that lay before me. It was like being entertained by the 76,000-piece orchestra of an alien civilization in whose classical music each note is not merely a musical tone, but an entire world, each just as intricate and nuanced as our own. You have a sense of being swarmed by the whimsical mastermind art forms of an extremely eccentric Boolean contortionist, a diabolical merry-go-round of linguistic Rubik's cubes, 13th-dimensional millipedes saying to themselves as they make love and impossible Gordian knots, dancing the jitterbug at a lyrical light speed, a gelatinous ballet of endless self-juxtaposing pirouettes. You realize all at once you have arrived and are now having a darshan with this gigantically insectoid, otherworldly Oz. They came at me again and again, a more than possible tsunami of opalescent combobulations, like rivers of music and miracles and clowns, the floodgates of my soul thrown wider than wide with the sheer magnitude of this dazzling, world-devouring spectacle. It was the primal, otherworldly bewilderness of the Andalusian gardens that grow in the antipodes of the mind, the crystalline vegetal perplexities of its delectable ecology spilling and dripping and pouring like liquid diamonds from my eyes, the presence of what is awesome, what is wildly, passionately, and numinously alive, filled every meridian in the vast continent of my expanded being, an intensity of joy and love and life coursing like heavenly ambrosia through my electrified veins. It was as though I myself was God, moving through liquid ecologies of God, the self-crystallizing emerald labyrinths of the tryptamine dream time, a marvelous infundibulum of plasmoidal calisthenics. What occurred was a total meltdown of everything I know and hold dear, utter surrender into the honeycomb love womb of the universe reborn, born anew in 1,000 unendingly magnificent eyes, Maya and Lila hand-held, spinning in sun-dream dandelions, and my 5 senses spinning like a zillion gyroscopes around the central petal amethyst of this, all, and everything.